Hello everyone, today in this video we are going to talk about the force on a moving charge in a magnetic field. So after this video you should be able to derive the expression of Lorentz force. You should be able to show the direction of magnetic force using Fleming's left hand rule, and you should to explain the motion of charge in a magnetic field. When a charge moves in free space, it will not experience any force, but when a magnetic field is present, it gets deflected to another direction. So this happens because the moving charges produces magnetic field, as we have studied in previous chapter. So due to this force, the charge get deflected in magnetic field, and this observation was first given by Hendrik Antoon Lorentz. So that's why we call it a Lorentz force. Before we start with the derivation, I'll show you a small video where we can see the interaction of magnetic field and charge in nature. This is called aurora borealis. This happens due to the interaction of charge coming from the sun and the magnetic field of the earth. So this is aurora borealis, and this is a real life example of interaction between charge and magnetic field. Now let's derive the Lorentz force. So I am considering a magnetic field going towards my right, and a charge plus q is moving with velocity v, making an angle theta with the magnetic field, and this velocity v can be resolved into two components, that is v cos theta, that is towards the magnetic field, and v sin theta, that is normal to the magnetic field. So according to Lorentz, when a charge moves in a magnetic field, so the force on the charge due to magnetic field depends on the strength of magnetic field. So F is proportional to B, and the force depends on the amount of charge that is flowing, and force is proportional to the component of velocity that is normal or perpendicular to the magnetic field. So out here you can see V sin theta is normal to B, so it depends on this component. So F is proportional to V sin theta. When you combine all of this, you will get force is equal to QBV sin theta, and out here proportionality constant is 1, and in vector form, so if you take BV sin theta, so this is a cross product of V and B, so force in vector form is equal to Q V cross B, and this force is called Lorentz force, as it was discovered by Lorentz. So let's see the special cases for Lorentz force. So this is the force. So first, if the particle is not charged, so that time if you put Q is equal to 0, so force is equal to 0. So when a particle which is not charged moves in a magnetic field, there will be no force on the particle. If the particle is at rest, so particle is not moving in the magnetic field, it is at rest, so that time also if you put V is equal to 0, so force will be 0. So if the charge is stationary in the magnetic field, there will be no force. And if the particle is moving parallel or anti-parallel, so this red one is the magnetic field going towards right, and if the charge moves in the direction which is towards right or anti-parallel towards the left, that time theta is 0 or 180 degrees, so that time sin theta will be 0, so the force is also 0. So there will be no force on a charge when it moves parallel or anti-parallel to magnetic field. So this is the last case. So if the direction of motion is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that time theta will be 90 degree and force will be QBV, that time the force is maximum on the charge. The direction of force on a charge moving in a magnetic field is given by Fleming's left hand rule, and it says that if you stretch your 3 fingers of left hand, that is middle finger, index finger and thumb, mutually perpendicular to each other, if index finger shows the magnetic field and if middle finger shows the direction of current, then the direction of force on a charge is given by thumb. So this is Fleming's left hand rule. Now let us understand the nature of this force. I have magnetic field which is going into the plane of the screen and a positive charge is moving towards my right. So out here I can use the Fleming's left hand rule. Direction of positive charge is the direction of current and magnetic field is going toward the screen, so force will be in upward direction. So it should deflect in upward direction, but initial velocity is towards the left, so the charge will move in the resultant of these two vectors, so it will move in this direction. Now again I can use the Fleming's left hand rule. So current is going in this direction and force is in this direction, so force should be in this direction, but the direction of velocity is in this direction, so the charge will move in the resultant of this two, so it will go out here. So if I use the rule again and again similarly, so it will follow a circular path. So again same thing, force, current, resultant. So again I am using the rule, so current is going downward, so force is in this direction, so every time magnetic field is towards the screen, so it will come back to the same position. So if you see the direction of force, every time it is going towards the center of the circle, so the force which is always directed towards the center of a circle is called centripetal force, and due to this centripetal force particle moves in a circular path. Magnetic field will provide necessary centripetal force to keep the charge in a circular path. Now let's see what happens. So this is how a charge moves in a magnetic field. So it follows a circular path if the direction of motion is perpendicular to the magnetic field. This time I am taking two charges, positive and negative, and they are not moving inside the magnetic field, they are entering the magnetic field. Outside there is no magnetic field. Now let's see what happens. So it will follow circular path and come back to the same position. If you take the negative charge, then it will follow the different path, because the direction of force on the electron will be different, because the direction of current for electron is just opposite to that of proton, so the direction of force will be different. So now we'll see the same picture from another side. This is a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field going towards the left, and motion of positive charge is towards the screen, into the plane of the screen, so it is velocity is going into the plane. So this time I can use the Fleming's left hand rule and the force will be in downward direction, so it will follow a circular path in a downward direction. So same thing from different angle. Now let's derive the time period and the radius of the circular path that a charge is following. So we are considering a uniform magnetic field which is going into the plane of the screen, and we are having one charge Q which is moving with velocity v, and the angle between magnetic field and velocity is 90 degree. So magnetic force on this charge will be F is equal to Q BV sin theta, and as V and B are perpendicular, B is going into the plane and V is going towards the left, so angle is 90 degree. So the force will be given by F is equal to Q BV, because sin 90 is 1. So now let's find the direction of force. So this direction can be found out by using Fleming's left hand rule, and we have already seen that when a charge moves in a uniform magnetic field, it follows a circular path. So we'll write same thing. So this force continuously try to keep the charge in a circular path by giving a necessary centripetal force. So this time I can write the magnetic field will give centripetal force. That time magnetic field and centripetal force will be equal. So centripetal force is mv square by r. So if you will get r is equal to mv square by q bv. So if you cancel v and v square, then you will get r is equal to mv by qv. So this is the radius of the circular path. Now let's find the time period of revolution. So time period will be circumference by velocity, because speed is equal to distance by time and time is equal to distance by speed. So out here distance is circumference and velocity is v. So if you put the value, so t is equal to time period is equal to 2 pi r by v. So if you use equation number 1, which is r is equal to mv by qv, so here I am putting the value of r, so you are left with t is equal to 2 pi m by qb. So and frequency is just reciprocal of time period, so it will be qb by 2 pi m, and out here m is the mass of the charged particle. So this frequency is called cyclotron frequency. So from out here we have got the radius of the circular path, the time period, and the frequency of revolution. The time period is independent of v and r. So the time taken by a charge to complete one revolution is independent of velocity and the radius, and the radius of the path is inversely proportional to q by m. So if you see q by m, so it is inversely proportional to charge to mass ratio. So q by m of electron is greater than that of proton, so that is why the electron, instead of having the same charge, follow the circular path of larger radius. If you see this, so for proton and electron moves in a circular path of larger radius because it has greater q by m ratio.